What if I told you that a technology that could send you just 60 seconds into the past wouldn't just change your life? It would break the entire world. Today, we're going to explore a wild thought experiment that shows how a simple 1-minute rewind could trigger the total and complete collapse of the global economy. Okay, let's just dive right in. Imagine you have a device right here in your hand. You press a button, and poof, you're back where you were exactly 1 minute ago. So, what's the very first thing you do with it? If you're like most people, your mind probably jumps straight to one place. Yeah, you'd think of taking a casino for everything it's got. You watch the roulette ball land on black 17, jump back 60 seconds, and bet the farm. I mean, it seems like a completely foolproof plan, right? But as we're about to see, that's a total illusion. The real threat isn't in the physical world of cards and dice. It's hidden deep in the digital plumbing of our entire civilization. To really get the impact here, we first have to ask a basic question. What are the rules of the game? Because believe it or not, the underlying physics of our imaginary time machine, well, that determines everything that's about to happen. So this breaks it down into the three main theories of time travel physics, and they have wildly different results. In a classical universe, you can't actually change anything. Your trip to the past was always part of history, so no paradoxes, minimal impact. A quantum model gets way more complicated, but the most dangerous one, the one we're focusing on, is the Everettian model. You probably know it as the many worlds theory. In this version, every time you jump back, you create a brand new branching timeline. You absolutely can change things, but you create a whole new reality when you do. That's the model that leads to total catastrophe.
So let's assume you can change the past by creating a new timeline. Why is the casino still safe? Well, it turns out the physical world has its own surprisingly tough defense mechanisms.
And that defense is called chaos theory. You've heard of the butterfly effect, right? A butterfly flaps its wings in Brazil and sets off a tornado in Texas. A roulette wheel is the exact same concept, just on a much smaller scale. It's an incredibly chaotic physical system.
So here's the crucial point. You see the ball land on 17. You jump back 60 seconds. But the simple act of you walking to the table, displacing the air, the tiny vibrations of you placing your chips, all of that changes the initial conditions. The croupier releases the ball a microsecond differently. And because the system is chaotic, that tiny change creates a completely different, unpredictable outcome. Your future knowledge is now totally useless. This really shows the gap between what you think would happen and what actually would. The hypothesis is easy money. The reality is that the house is protected by the fundamental laws of physics. And that's not even mentioning that casinos already use advanced AI to spot weird patterns. A player who suddenly starts winning with impossible consistency, they'd be flagged and banned instantly. But even if you could somehow beat chaos theory and the AI, the casinos would roll out their ultimate defense, a dead simple change to the rules. Imagine this. All bets are locked in. A 120-second timer starts. Then the wheel is spun. Your 60-second time machine is now completely worthless. You can see the winning number, but by the time you travel back, the betting window has already been closed for a full minute. Problem solved. Okay, so the physical world is safe, but the digital world, that's a completely different story. It has none of these built-in protections. In fact, you could say the entire global financial market is uniquely, catastrophically vulnerable.
Let's talk about high-frequency trading, or HFT. Forget human traders. More than half of all stock trades are done by algorithms fighting over tiny price differences. This is a war fought in microseconds, millions of a second. The only thing that matters is being faster than your competitor, even by a nanosecond.
And the scale here is just almost impossible to imagine. Every single day, about $7.5 trillion flows through these algorithmic systems. This isn't some side game at a casino. This is the literal bedrock of the global economy. Now, to understand the danger, we have to stop thinking like humans and start thinking like these machines. For us, a minute is a short amount of time. For an HFT algorithm, a minute is an eternity. It's 60 million microseconds. And that's what this all boils down to. A 60-second advantage isn't just an edge. It is absolute godlike power. If your algorithm makes a decision every 10 microseconds, a 1-minute jump gives you 6 million chances to act before your competitors even experience the first microsecond of that minute. In this world, you have become a god. And this is where it all falls apart. Because when one firm gets this power, everyone else will race to get it too. And that race doesn't lead to profits, it leads directly into an economic black hole. Just look at how this plays out. The market's normal, a big trade happens. Firm A sees it, jumps back to 59 seconds ago and front-runs it. But Firm B's algorithm instantly spots that strange trade, so it triggers its time machine, jumping back to 59.5 seconds to front-run Firm A. Then Firm C sees that and jumps back to 59.6. You see what's happening? It's an infinite recursive loop of algorithms fighting over the same moment, dividing time into smaller and smaller fractions forever. So what happens when every algorithm is trying to rewind time to get an edge? No one can trust the price of anything. All the big players pull their money out, and the market freezes instantly. And this isn't a temporary crash. This is a permanent state of non-existence for the financial markets. The entire system just implodes.
So how do you possibly defend against this? When time itself has become a weapon, you have to change the rules of time. And humanity would have one and only one way out of this incredible mess.
The solution is to completely abandon our reliance on the physical flow of time and create a new artificial one. We'd have to create a reality ledger. Think of it like a global clock, built on blockchain technology, that everyone on Earth has to agree on. It would create an unchangeable, cryptographically sealed history of events. The forward march of time would no longer be governed by physics, but by math and global consensus.
And this defense would need multiple layers. First, a basic distributed ledger makes it mathematically impossible for any one person to rewrite the past. Next, you'd use something called state anchoring. This essentially replaces the non-stop flow of trading with little sealed batches of transactions every few seconds. That simple change completely neutralizes those infinite HFT time loops. And down the road, you could even have a quantum blockchain that uses the laws of quantum mechanics itself to detect and reject any funny business with time.
Now, this reality ledger doesn't magically break the time machines. People could still try to use them. So what happens when some rogue trader decides to jump back 60 seconds anyway to try and game this new system? Well, they don't get stopped. They actually succeed in creating a new timeline, a branch reality where their trade went through. But here's the absolutely brilliant part. The global reality ledger, the main timeline that everyone else is on, immediately rejects their version of history. Their blockchain becomes invalid. They've just created what's called an orphaned fork. And this is the truly profound takeaway. The system doesn't fight the time traveler. It excommunicates them. They're free to exist in their own perfect timeline where they made the perfect trade, but it's a timeline of one. They are completely and utterly cut off from the real shared global economy, which has already moved on without them. They are stranded, forever, in a universe that has no value to anyone but themselves.